This is wild. The real-life Martha from Baby Reindeer, not only has she revealed herself, she is going to share her side of the story with Piers Morgan, right? Not the update I thought I'd be giving when we covered this last week, right? And if you're unfamiliar with Baby Reindeer, it's a dark comedy and thriller written by and starring Richard Gadd, and it depicts events that really happened to him, including the fact that he was aggressively stalked by a woman fictionalized in the show as a character by the name of Martha. And with its just absolutely runaway success, what we ended up seeing were a lot of people trying to figure out who the real Martha was, which, I mean, that sparked a controversy of its own, Gadd even telling fans to stop speculating. And while you had places like the Daily Mail saying they were in contact with this person this morning, Piers Morgan revealed that he actually sat down with the real-life Martha, whose name is Fiona Harvey. It's set to air tomorrow, with Piers saying that she wants to, quote, set the record straight. And reports noting that she's a Scottish lawyer who some online detectives did find and identify prior to this. And actually, news about this interview comes a few days after she already revealed her identity to the tabloid The Daily Record, which notably said that Fiona is considering suing Netflix and Gadd and denying the contents of the show, specifically taking issue with the fact that in the show, the Martha character spends time behind bars, which Fiona says is not true about her life, saying, "I've not been to prison, none of this happened, it's a load of rubbish. Gadd needs to prove I went to jail, which just didn't happen. I've never been sent to jail, that is blatantly obvious. Police at your door would be the first thing, then you'd be charged, then you would have a trial, then you'd be fined or something or go to prison. This is all made up and hyperbole." And adding that even though she doesn't have a lot of money, she's willing to take it to court and represent herself since she's a lawyer. Though notably here, in previous interviews, Gadd has suggested that the person he based Martha on never went to prison in real life as a result of the events that unfold in the show. But that's also not the only issue Fiona has taken here, saying her life has become miserable since fans of the show found her, claiming Gadd and Netflix have portrayed this as a true story, and now some little man in North Carolina giving me death threats believes it's a true story. Any semblance of a normal life I had is gone. It's open season on me, and this is my chance to speak out. And as for whether or not her lawsuit against Netflix and Gadd actually has any merit, at the very least, you had a lawyer telling the Daily Record that she could have grounds for a defamation case because the show potentially didn't do enough to conceal her identity. But with that, so far, Netflix has defended itself, with Deadline reporting that a policy chief at the company actually spoke to Parliament today, saying the production took, quote, every reasonable precaution in disguising the real-life identities of the people involved in that story. We didn't want to anonymize that or make it generic to the point where it was no longer his story, because that would undermine the intent behind the show. Ultimately, it's obviously very difficult to control what viewers do, particularly in a world where everything is amplified by social media. But for now, that's kind of where we are until this Piers Morgan interview comes out, which notably is already facing backlash, with people accusing him of trying to take advantage of someone who is clearly depicted as mentally unwell. Though personally, I'm going to hold on to my judgment on this one until we actually see what this interview looks like.